Excellent. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm glad to be here to talk a little bit about something that we're very uh, pleased with, very proud of, perhaps, and what it stands to do for all of us here. Next slide. The Transportation Operations Manual, and I'm going to call it the TOM going forward, is a comprehensive resource for TSMO, an authoritative source for developing, deploying, and sustaining capabilities and strategies for preserving and optimizing transportation system performance. It presents a holistic view of TSMO, covers a broad range of topics and tactics. It's a first-of-a-kind resource exclusively focused on transportation operations. It was created to be an authoritative source for developing, deploying, and sustaining capabilities and strategies to preserve and optimize transportation system performance. The TOM is a guidance resource with links to recommended supplemental materials that represent another level of detail into the state of practice for specific application areas. As you know, much of transportation operations is local or state context specific. The TOM is intended to serve as a comprehensive reference manual, but not intended to be prescriptive in nature or supersede the judgment and decision-making of TSMO professionals informed by their own unique settings. Since the field of transportation operations is fast evolving, there will inevitably be emerging concepts that may not have been foreseen when the TOM was written. The manual was developed under a TRB NCHRP research project. First edition has been published by AASHTO. You see the links there in the screen. You perhaps have them in the chat, and you'll see them again. A significant amount of input from TSMO practitioners was gathered during the review process. It's a digital publication. I think that's good in this day and age. It's searchable, easy wayfinding intended for on-screen use, links to other resources, and available through purchase through AASHTO. Note though, if you are a state with a state DOT, you should check first to ensure that you may have access internally. You may. Next slide. Why is this manual so significant and so important for transportation in the U.S.? It's a single reference for all elements of TSMO: strategic, programmatic, and tactical. It provides a common basis for TSMO in an agency region across the country, and it reinforces TSMO as a critical transportation agency function. It places TSMO on par with other agency functions and gives increased validity to the consideration of TSMO strategies, especially relative to more traditional approaches. It also has consideration of diversity, equity, and inclusion throughout. Next slide. Why incorporate DEI into a technical manual? Why the TOM? To identify opportunities to incorporate DEI through transportation decisions and to bring awareness of potential impacts of recommendations to different groups of people. TSMO can be a source and an opportunity for incorporating DEI initiatives into projects and into organizations. We thought about DE&I holistically, both internally to an organization, as well as externally in the form of projects and impacts. Often we see documents that do one or the other, but not often both. Internal and transportation agencies, the focus was on incorporating DE&I concepts into the chapters on TSMO program and how TSMO relates to other programs. External to the agency, the focus was on DE&I considerations in TSMO tactics. For example, to think about the impacts that any TSMO projects, strategies have on different groups, and how TSMO strategies may better serve disadvantaged groups. Next slide. There are 6 parts to the TOM. I'm going to step through each part here over the next several slides to provide an overview of the types of content that are included in each section. Next slide. Part A is, well, introduction to TSMO, the manual need and purpose, a description of each part and its audience, how to use the manual, and then resources and related efforts. I would suggest that this is one of those desirably, everyone needs to read it parts. It's fundamental, it's introductory, it sets the stage for what you might do and where you might springboard from this. Next slide. Part B of the manual features TSMO concepts and context, including a focus on providing an operations director or other senior manager with the essentials for success. Note, there is a deliberate intent that some parts of the TOM have different intended audiences, as is the case here with Part B. Topics in this part include TSMO concepts, TSMO in the transportation agency context, and agency readiness to advance TSMO. Next slide. Part C focuses on programmatic aspects of TSMO. It is intended to assist an operations manager with day-to-day processes to support a well-functioning TSMO organization. Note the higher level focus on topics such as TSMO plans, programming and funding, performance management, systems engineering, TSMO program capabilities, business processes, organization and workforce, systems and technology, performance measurement collaboration, leadership, and culture. Next slide. Part D of the manual provides guidance on TSMO project development, so perhaps more a designer focus here, including on how to include TSMO considerations as transportation projects are designed, constructed, and managed over time. Chapters in this part are focused on performance-based practical design, performance measures for operational improvements, linking TSMO to capital projects, procurement, and funding for TSMO projects. Next slide. Part E focuses on TSMO tactics, such as situational awareness, communication, decision support, and control, event management, arterial management, freeway management, freight operations, active demand and parking management, active transportation, transit, tolling, and road pricing. These chapters provide the reader with the technical information and links to resources to consider various tactics and implement them in practice. Next slide. Finally, Part F discusses industry and technology trends with a focus on describing emerging trends, as well as some of the implications resulting from those trends. Topics include advanced communications, cybersecurity, big data and analytics, artificial intelligence and advanced computing, and connected and automated vehicles, next generation traffic management systems, and next generation traveler information systems, mobility on demand, mobility as a service, smart cities, and road user charging. This section also includes risk management strategies and discussions of implications to an agency's organization and workforce. Next slide. The TOM adds to and complements other U.S. guidance resources for transportation, such as the AASHTO Green Book, the AASHTO Highway Safety Manual, the TRB Highway Capacity Manual, Federal Highways Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, the MUTCD, and certainly other industry guidance documents. Similar to other AASHTO manuals, the TOM will be maintained and sustained over time, updated periodically to reflect best practices and emerging technologies. Future updates will be coordinated by AASHTOs Committee on Transportation Systems Operation. A new effort, which is currently underway through the NCHRP, will create a companion document, a guide for transportation operations manual implementation. This document will compile effective practices like case studies, tools, other resources, and lessons learned to complement guidance that is provided in the manual. These will be specific example practices that align with the concepts and guidance outlined in the TOM itself. Next slide. As practices evolve and new technologies emerge, we have a structure in place to manage the TOM moving forward. The TOM Technical Committee provides guidance for implementing, revising, and refining the TOM. It will oversee the review of technical and editorial corrections, clarifications, and potential additions resulting from practice and research studies. The TOM Technical Committee members represent all regions of the country, multiple disciplines, and industry, including safety, design, maintenance, and traffic engineering, industry and local agencies, diverse practices, weather conditions, and regional activities. What you see here on the map are the geographic organization of the AASHTO regional organizations. SASHTO there is in the blue, WASHTO is out west, MASHTO and NASHTO up in the northeast. We are not only implementing this newest first version, but also actively planning for the next update by facilitating input from practitioners and considering new research that may be needed to enhance and improve future editions of the TOM. Given the nature of the industry that we're functioning in, things are going to move quickly. There are going to be new things identified, certainly modifications, advances in those that we already have documented. We're hoping to capture all of that and get it into future editions. Next slide. How to get the TOM. Done it before. It's in the chat. It's here again. You get it. With that, next slide. I thank you for your time and look forward to Jennifer's presentation as she presents a good example on how the TOM goes from being just something kind of out there, so to speak, into something practiced and implemented by a transportation agency. Thank you.